1. Donald Trump Jr. issued a cease and desist notice to Jimmy Kimmel, not over defamation, not over slander, but over something he viewed as far more harmful, stating the truth. Saying off the record to WikiLeaks isn't merely foolish, it becomes proof of wrongdoing wrapped in inept judgment. And when Jimmy Kimmel revealed it, when he presented the evidence, ridiculed the absurdity, and refused to let the public forget, Don Jr. didn't defend his position. He turned to his attorneys. This is the account of how a comedian became the Trump family's top adversary. Not through falsehoods, but through recollection. It began with leaked communications. Donald Trump Jr. had been directly interacting with WikiLeaks, the group that released stolen Democratic emails during the 2016 election, and Don Jr., in his supposed cleverness, believed he could keep it off the record. With WikiLeaks, an organization built entirely on exposing information, Kimmel didn't just cover the story. He dismantled it through satire. They were willing to cooperate with others. That satire so precise it practically demands a disclaimer, because Kimmel didn't simply ridicule Don Jr. He reenacted the wrongdoing in a way that made it impossible to overlook. 4 red heart emojis and an eggplant. That's not political coordination. That's messaging with betrayal. But Don Jr.'s WikiLeaks controversy was only the beginning, because years later he appeared in court testifying in a $250 million fraud case involving the Trump Organization. And Jimmy Kimmel was present to capture every embarrassing moment.
James Kimmel, we are everywhere. We are Legion. We are WikiLeaks.
How did you get past our firewall?
We got your password.
How did you get our password?
It was 1234.
All right. Well, what do you want? What can I do for you?
We would like to make a statement regarding our relationship with Donald Trump Jr.
Oh, so you do admit to having a relationship with Donald Trump Jr.?
No, we don't have a relationship.
Well, you direct messaged him on Twitter and he sent you back, I think, 4 red heart emojis and an eggplant.
Yeah, it's less of a relationship, more of a friends with benefits thing.
So it wasn't a relationship, it was a friendship?
We're not putting labels on things. We're keeping it loose. We're open to colluding with other people.
All right. Well, thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
So what he lacks in intellect, he also lacks in presence. That's not an insult. That's a catalog. Because Don Jr. is a figure without abilities, without appeal, and without any defense except a well-known surname.
And while Don Jr. was in New York preparing to testify in court, his fiancée Kimberly was at the party dressed up as Trump's constituent, Snow White.
So what he lacks in intellect, he also lacks in presence. That's not an insult. That's a catalog. Because Don Jr. is a figure without abilities, without appeal, and without any defense except a well-known surname.
He was not at Daddy Donald's last night. The prodigal son was being grilled as part of the $250 million case against their business. There he is, tiny soprano. I wonder what's going through his head right now.
I should have worn makeup.
Oh, yeah, good one. But here's the thing about Don Jr. What he lacks in intelligence, he also lacks in charisma.
Sworn in on an upside-down Bible. He will complete his testimony tomorrow, then Eric will testify, and afterward Trump will claim he has never met either of them. Sworn in on an upside-down Bible. Whether symbolic or literal, it fits perfectly because Don Jr.'s entire testimony reflected reversed truth. And Kimmel's prediction that Trump will say he's never met them isn't comedy, it's recognition of a pattern. Because that is what Trump does. When his children become burdens, he acts as though they don't exist. And speaking of Trump, where was he while his son was testifying? Not in the courtroom, not standing by his family. He was hosting a Halloween party.
TJ was sworn in on an upside-down Bible. He will finish his testimony tomorrow, and then Eric will testify, and then Trump will claim he's never met either one of them.
Sworn in on an upside-down Bible. What?
Leave my children alone. It's simple. I've done it their entire lives. That's not merely a joke. That's factual history. Because Trump doesn't shield his children. He utilizes them. And when they are exposed, he celebrates and portrays himself as the victim. There is no victim except me. His sons are testifying in a fraud trial, and Trump believes he is the victim. That's not narcissism. That's dysfunction. And Kimmel's closing observation, whether they're operating a fraudulent university or burying their mother on a golf course, is devastating because it's accurate. The fraudulent university, Trump University, was shut down over fraud. The sham charity, Trump Foundation, was dissolved for misuse of funds. Burying their mother on a golf course, that is literally what occurred for tax benefits. But the fraud trial was only one of Trump's legal challenges. Because by that stage, Trump had accumulated so many court appearances that even his legal team struggled to keep track.
Even some worry Don Jr. could be tried as an adult in this one. Trump was not there in person to support his sons. He had a Halloween party to host, but he did lash out at the judge on Truth Social. He wrote, "There's no victim except me. Leave my children alone, Engoron. You are a disgrace to the legal profession." That's right. Leave my children alone. It's easy. I've done it their whole lives. But I will say one thing you do have to hand to the Trumps. They stick together, whether they're running a fake university or a phony charitable organization or just burying their mother on a golf course. Seen here.
It's going to be called the United States of America. Thank you very much. That's a great name. It's going to be called the United States of America. That's a great name. Trump spoke as if he had named the country himself. And Kimmel's dry response, "That's a great name," is fitting because it highlights the absurdity of a man so disconnected he appears to think he is branding America. But then Trump introduced another conspiracy claim. One so extreme it made everything else seem reasonable.
Trump's lawyers are reportedly having trouble making sure they can even go to all of his trials because there are so many of them. There are court dates today in both New York and Florida. Never has a team of attorneys racked up more billable hours that they will not ever get paid for than this group. Trump is desperately trying to paint himself as the victim of a conspiracy to railroad his presidential campaign, masterminded by his arch nemesis, Joe Biden.
These highly political Biden lawsuits and indictments shouldn't be allowed to start until after the election is over. We're going to make America great again. We're going to put America first. And we're going to have a great country. It's going to be called the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's a great name.
Hannibal Lecter. Trump believes fictional cannibals are crossing the border. Not figuratively. He genuinely appears to think that Hannibal Lecter, a character from a film, is part of the immigration issue. And Kimmel's question, "Did you just fall asleep with a movie playing last night?" is the only logical reaction, because that's not policy. That's confusion delivered from a podium. Now this is the point where Don Jr. reacted strongly, because Kimmel didn't just mock his WikiLeaks messages once. He kept revisiting them, kept presenting the proof, kept reminding the public that Don Jr. had coordinated with a foreign organization, and was careless enough to say, off the record, to WikiLeaks. So Don Jr. did what the Trumps typically do when facts can't be debated. He threatened legal action. According to sources connected to the show, Don Jr.'s attorneys issued a cease and desist letter claiming Kimmel segments were defamatory and harmful to his reputation. His reputation, the same one built on saying, off the record, to WikiLeaks, being sworn in on an upside-down Bible and lacking both intelligence and charisma. Kimmel's response: he read the letter live on air and laughed, because you cannot defame someone by displaying their own words. You cannot harm a reputation that is already overwhelmed by evidence. Don Jr. didn't act because Kimmel lied. He acted because Kimmel remembered. But what makes this entire episode so striking is this: Don Jr. isn't just defending himself. He's defending the family enterprise. And that enterprise isn't real estate. It's fraud.
Also kept the spirit of Halloween alive by floating a scary new theory about what's going on at the border.
Biden is allowing people from prisons and jails. He's allowing people from mental institutions and insane asylums. Silence of the Lambs. Hannibal Lecter, remember?
If we remember Hannibal Lecter, we just have no idea what you're talking about. Are there cannibals crossing the border? Or did you just fall asleep with a movie on last night?
Look at fake universities, sham charities, and burying relatives on golf courses for tax advantages. That's not a political accusation. That's a corporate record. And when Jimmy Kimmel documents it, when he reveals the pattern, connects the evidence, and refuses to let the public forget, the Trumps don't argue, they litigate. Because the truth isn't what they oppose. Memory is. Don Jr. contacted his lawyers about Jimmy Kimmel. Not for falsehoods, but for remembering, for showing the WikiLeaks messages, for mocking the upside-down Bible, for pointing out that Trump left his sons during their trial, for documenting the fake universities and sham charities, for refusing to let the public forget. Trump said, "Leave my children alone." Kimmel replied, "You already have their entire lives." That's
I will say one thing you do have to hand to the Trumps. They stick together, whether they're running a fake university or a phony charitable organization or just burying their mother on a golf course.
Fake universities, phony charities, burying family members on golf courses for tax breaks. That's not a political attack, that's a corporate history. And when Jimmy Kimmel documents it, when he shows the pattern, connects the dots, refuses to let America forget, the Trumps don't argue. They sue. Because the truth isn't their opponent, memory is. Don Jr. called his lawyers on Jimmy Kimmel, not for lying, for remembering, for showing the WikiLeaks messages, for mocking the upside-down Bible, for pointing out that Trump abandoned his sons during their trial, for documenting the fake universities and phony charities, for refusing to let America forget. Trump said, "Leave my children alone." Kimmel said, "You already did their whole lives," and history will remember which one was telling the truth.